Business to business, the drill. Okay, anyone that's ever heard of legendary consultant and former NYU professor Peter Drucker may be familiar with the drill, sometimes called the Drucker drill. But it's especially important when you think about business to business marketing, right? Especially if you're taking over a new marketing organization, or if your company is trying to get into some new markets, or they're trying to grow a business that was previously successful just because you had the best product or the newest product, okay? But in any case, it's always a good idea, especially if you're in B2B or B2B and B2C, to do the Drucker drill, okay? Or just the drill, right? So what's a key part of the drill? Well, it's really just answering a set of questions. This is how Peter Drucker made millions of dollars from the largest, most successful companies in the world, and they were happy to give them their money. And he essentially put them through this drill, so we'll do it right now, right? Key question that he would ask is, what business problem or problems do you solve? Okay, not seemingly a shocking thing to ask, but often, you know, people are obsessed with their products and services, and they're not thinking about what are the business problems that your products or services solve, right? To your customer, to your target customer, I should say, to your target audience, this is what they care about, right? They typically care about problems, right? So you want to understand what are the problems that you solve from their perspective. Get into the head of your target audience and understand these things, right? How do you do that, right? How do you get into the head of your target audience and do that? Well, you can ask them, right? You can do surveys. You can interact with them. Go to trade shows. Go to where they hang out. Go to their message board groups. Find out what magazines they read. What trade shows do they go to? What are the leading topics there, right? But always look at what is the problem that they need to solve. What are the trends related to the problems that they need to solve, right? And that's where you want to be focusing, right? So it's really getting it down to, for your company, come up with a list of what are the business problems you solve, and I would say even write them down from the perspective of the person that has them. I like using a problem statement. How would they describe the problem to a friend or a peer of theirs? Okay, not as easy as it sounds, all right? Peter Drucker used to take companies through this drill, and it was often excruciating for a CEO or his vice presidents to go through it, but always very, very worthwhile, right? Get that list of problems. Exactly which problems do you solve? And then ultimately you can then kind of rank them, right? You can rank them based on some key characteristics, right? You can rank these problems based upon how big is the market for that problem? How fast is that market growing, right? How many competitors are there? How much competition is there? You know, is this a red ocean problem, or is this a blue ocean problem, right? Are you really the only one who solves this particular problem or solves it well, or there are a lot of competitors, right? That's red ocean versus blue ocean, you know, red ocean because of all the competitors fighting it out and getting bloody, okay? Do you completely solve the problem? Those are different ways that you can help essentially rank the business problems and figure out which ones to focus on, okay? Next, once you've determined which business problems you solve, and you get them ranked, you can determine which ones to focus on first as far as marketing and sales focus. The next question is, who has that problem? Right? Who exactly has that problem? Right? So which industries have that problem? Is it industry specific? Right? Then which companies, exactly, which companies and organizations have that specific problem? Then within each of those industries and those companies, what are the job titles, right? What are the roles, or more importantly, the job titles of the people that would raise their hand and say, yes, I have that business problem and I'm tasked with solving it, right? What are the members of that buying team that exist on the B2B side? Who are they, right? Is this the director of IT that has this problem? Is this the head of a specific department that would do that, right? Who actually is going to use the product or service to solve the problem, right? They're going to be part of the buying team as well. Who are the approvers, right? So who has that problem? Answering that question, again, not quite as simple as it might seem, because you're talking about a group of people. Who's going to be the primary buyer, who raises his hand, right, and says that buying, that business problem statement we talked about, and then who are the other people that'll be involved in that decision process, right? That's who has that business problem. Next is, how do they like to buy? How do they like to solve problems? How do they choose to do it? Understand, how are they going to look to research the problem? And then how do they like to solve the problem? Do they like to solve stuff in-house? Do they like to build their solutions themselves, or do they look for vendors? Do they look for local vendors, regional vendors, or will they go national? Will they go directly or online? So get an understanding of how do they choose to solve this kind of problem. Try to get that information, right? And then what's at the heart of the B2B Drucker drill is really, once you've answered these questions and done some real introspection on your company, you can get to perhaps the most important question, right? And that is, what business are you in? Okay? This should be in your mission statement, but it's usually not accurate. If you're a B2B company, the business you are in is the business that your target audience believes you are in. So you need to turn this around and understand, what does your target audience believe is the business you are in, and then you need to come to grips with that and embrace it. Just saying that you are the cloud, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity leader does not make it so. You know, if your target audience believes, no, you sell tools to IT plumbers, that's the business you're in, well, then you need to understand that, because if that's how they think of you, the more you talk about something else, the less relevant you become. So ultimately, solving these 4 questions is how Peter Drucker helped many of the great organizations of the world stay great and get better, and so can you. So that's the drill, and these are the 4 questions. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next time.